You're good at what you do. Really good. And from the outside, your life looks like it's working. The career, income, family, and reputation. But there's something that nobody sees. The version of you that gets home at the end of the day. The one that just disappears. Not physically. You're sitting at the table. You're in the same room with your kids, your partner. You might even be talking. But the thing is, you're not really there. And the people that love you most, that want you there, don't feel you. This video is for the version of you, the one that nobody talks about. Let me describe your day. You wake up already thinking about all the things that needs to be done. You move through the morning on autopilot. There's coffee, phone, emails, and you're getting the kids sorted out. But your mind is already at work before you've even left the house. It's possibly been at work the entire weekend as well. And you get through the day. You perform, you lead, and you always deliver. Then you get home, and instead of just landing and taking off this bag of work and thinking and decisions, you keep it on. And it follows you into your home. You go on your phone, or you grab a drink, or you turn on something to watch. Or you might find that you just go quiet, and then your partner notices, your kids notice, and sometimes you'll find they'll even act out, and they'll be looking for your attention to actually see if you're there. You're there physically, but you're not present. And you tell yourself that you're just tired, and everyone understands, and you just need a little bit of time to decompress, and tomorrow you'll be more present, you'll be there, you'll be mentally and emotionally available. But tomorrow comes, and it's the same, again and again. And here's what I want you to understand. You're not lazy, you're not selfish, you're not a bad father or even a bad partner. But the thing is, you don't know how to switch off. And I mean that literally. Not as a criticism, not as a diagnosis. Because switching off at the end of the day is not just a thing that you do, it's actually a skill. And most high performers and leaders and people that really tend to be switched on more often than not have never learned this skill. And so what you've been doing instead, the going quiet, the scrolling on the phone, the watching the TV, maybe even pouring of a drink or two, that's just a change of stimulation that's taken place. Your nervous system is still running, and all you have done is just given it something else to consume. So think of your nervous system like a dial. In a healthy cycle, it goes up during the day. Rises with pressure, rises with demand, and then you'll find it comes down, fully down. And that's what recovery essentially is. But for most high performers or parents that are continuously on the go, the idea of this dial changing never fully happens. And it ends up just staying elevated. So day after day and week after week, year after year, this elevated dial ends up becoming your baseline. And you can't even remember the last time you switched off because you don't even recall how that feels in your system. So why does this happen? In my work, it always almost comes down to these three things. And I want to walk you through each one because I want you to see yourself in this. So driver one is identity. For a lot of high performers, staying on top of things isn't just a habit. It's tied to their sense of self-worth. And deep down, for most of them, they would never say this out loud, but there's a belief running in the background. If I stop performing, then I stop mattering. So stillness doesn't feel like rest, and it feels like essentially losing ground. It sometimes even feels like something is slipping, and the feeling is intolerable. Yeah. Driver two, the nervous system. Some of you physically cannot come down. I've personally experienced this, and it's even when everything is quiet, even when there's nothing actually wrong, your body is still braced. You are still scanning, you're still waiting for this next threat. And it's because you've been in that state for so long, your system has essentially forgotten how to do anything else. That's just how it functions. Driver three, so no reference point. Most people have never actually learned how to switch off. And so there's no essential model for it. This is the skill. There's no practice, there's no language for what this state of switching off actually feels like. So they end up confusing distraction for recovery. And then they wonder why they don't feel rested. So now I want to talk to you about what this actually costs. Not in productivity, not even in performance metrics, but in the things that actually matter. The why you're doing what you're doing. So again, you're in the room, but you're not available. Your partner reaches out to you emotionally, but then again, you are somewhere else. And I think the confusing bit is it's not that you don't love them, but it's because you've used up every last drop of yourself before you got home. And there's essentially nothing left to give. And so your kids are watching you, not just what you're doing, but how you are, how you're essentially living. And they're reading your energy, they're reading your state, they're reading your nervous system before you even say a single word. They have this uncanny skill to know when you're present and to also know when you're not. And over time, without meaning to, they stop bringing things to you. They stop trying to get your attention because somewhere along all those times where they try to get hold of you and to have you there and present, they found that dad was busy, or dad needs a moment for himself, or dad's a little bit stressed, or dad's just trying to figure something out. Whatever that phrase is, they've heard it enough times to realize, well, I don't see the point in actually coming here. I know it's going to be a no, or dad's just not going to be there, or he'll come back to me. But you never come back because you're always busy. You're always on. And so your decisions start to suffer, even those big ones. You can still perform when the stakes are clear, but the small ones, the ones that do require patience, the ones that require maybe more nuance or presence, those start to feel heavier than they should. And this is quite interesting. Your reactions end up coming faster than your thoughts. And you might find yourself asking yourself this question: why did I do that? It's so out of character for me. And here's a phrase that I want you to sit with. You're carrying more than you realize, but you're never putting any of that down. Now, why is that? What the world sees, the achievements, the leadership, the capability, this person that seems to function on will, air, luck, and infinite energy, that's above the water, as they say. What's underneath that is the emotional unavailability, the fraying relationship, the kids walking on eggshells, having to be hypervigilant, the decisions that are made from depletion. And then there's this quite growing sense that something important is slipping away. And the longer it goes unaddressed, the wider the gap becomes. So I want to ask you something, and please take a moment and sit with it. And the question isn't, how do I rest more? The real question is, why can't I switch off? Because until you can answer that, more holidays won't fix it. More sleep won't fix it. More medication won't fix it. More downtime won't fix it. You'll just bring the same system to a different location. And I've seen that happen time and time again. And here's where it gets real. For most high performers, this isn't just a habit problem. It goes deeper than that. Somewhere along the way, before career, before family, before any of this, you learned something. You learned that your value was connected to your output. That love, real love, consistent love, only came when you performed, when you achieved, when you didn't cause problems, when you held it together. And so you in turn built yourself around that. A very capable, a very competent, a very well put together self. And that self has served you. It got you here. But it also cannot rest, because rest feels like exposure. Rest feels unsafe. If you stop, people will see what's underneath. And what's underneath, you are not sure that that is enough. And that's not a productivity problem. That is a wound, a core wound, and it deserves to be treated like one. So where do you actually start? Well, it's not with a productivity system. It's not with another morning routine. It's also not with another thing to optimize. You start here. 10 minutes. No phone, no music, no input of any kind whatsoever. Just you sitting with whatever is there. And I know how that sounds. Most of you won't be able to do it. Not really. You'll feel that pull within about 2 minutes. The urge to check something, the restlessness, the mental chatter that ends up getting louder the more you don't feed it. So don't run from it. That's the information. That's discomfort. It's not weakness. And if you're able to observe it, that's what's been running you all this time. So when you first try this, expect restlessness within the first 60 seconds, an urge to be productive or do something, mental noise that feels a little bit louder than usual, a low uncomfortable feeling that you can't quite name. And this is just your nervous system meeting stillness for the first time in a long time. It doesn't know what to do with it, and so it interprets it as a threat. And that response right there is exactly why you can't switch off. And here's why this matters beyond just you. That system, the one that can't calm down, that can't be still, that is always scanning for something else, it doesn't just stay inside of you. It moves through you into every room that you go into. Your team feels it, your partner feels it, and your children feel it. A regulated man who knows how to come back to himself changes the entire environment around him. Not through force, not through trying harder, but through presence. Real presence, the kind that makes people feel safe. The kind that makes your kids run towards you instead of away. The kind that makes your partner feel like they're with someone and not just sharing a life with a roommate. If you can't switch off, you're not in control. You're just running. And somewhere underneath that, there's this version of you that is exhausted. Not from the work, but the weight of having to maintain this version of self that never gets to rest. That version of you deserves something different. Not another strategy, not another system, just finally permission to come down. So start with 10 minutes. Just you, yourself, and the moment that you're in. Thank you for taking the time to dive into this work. And if you want to dive a bit deeper, there's a capacity assessment, which takes about 3 minutes, where you can discover what archetype you align with, if you're the leaking achiever or if you're the drained performer, and where you're essentially leaking energy, capacity, and steps that you can take to circumnavigate that. And if this work has really piqued your interest, feel free to connect. All my links are below. And speaking as a person who has lived this and has built a practice and a life around not functioning in this way, there is another side to this. And your entire life opens up differently. Your relationship feels different. Your kids feel different. You feel different. And it's as if you get to relive life on a day-to-day basis because you're so present in how you're showing up and how you're seeing yourself and how you're interacting, from you being a parent to you being a business owner to you just being you. And as always, you have the power to make the shift.